Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. Today we're going to be looking at a few things regarding Anthem. This is a third video that I'm making in regard to some of the news that we have received that Anthem might be getting a reboot. Now, I do not want to beat a dead horse. I do not want to be a... I don't want to beat a dead horse, if you see what I did there, and I thought I just cracked myself up, but I wanted to make sure that we have some clarity and kind of see or take a look into what EA's strategy might be with all of this. Now, I don't know what the intention of Anthem's reboot might be. A lot of people have said it's probably going to be too late by the time it's all said and done. I don't think so. I think, in fact, if a lot of other games in the 2020 release cycle were to maybe blow over, Anthem might seem like a fresh concept for a lot of people to want to pick up. That's kind of how I see it. But then we have to actually talk about EA's motivation for actually wanting to actually go back and clean up Anthem, because they could have easily ditched Anthem and moved on to Bioware's, next rumored project, which is Dragon Age 4. I personally think that Dragon Age 4 is the motivation for this Anthem cleanup. Now, there are benefits for EA if they actually go back and clean Anthem up, if they go back and actually do a reboot, whatever they want to do. If they do it right, they make sure that their old player base, the people who paid for the game day one, are actually satisfied, are actually attracted back to the game in the sense of giving them an incentive to come back, or saying, hey, we screwed up, we want you guys to actually come back to the game, we're going to give you something in return or something as a sign of good faith, and say, hey, come back to the game, give us hugs, give us kisses, whatever you want to do. We apologize. Something of that nature. I think that's probably going to be where they need to start from. But then if you think about the entirety of how their strategy is going to work around this, I think in one sense, bringing players back, and in another sense, improving their public relations currently. Because if they go ahead and release in this same climate Dragon Age 4, or start talking about the game, a lot of people are going to be very, very cautious. Their sales numbers may not hit the mark that they may want. And so in order for them to start even talking more about Dragon Age, this idea of a possible Anthem reboot has to be floated and be seen as a reality. So first of all, float the idea, see how the community reacts, see what the community actually wants, implement that idea for Anthem, and then as Anthem is cooking and is on the way, you show people and serve a little bit of a sample to a lot of people and say, hey, this is what's coming. Then you can start talking about Dragon Age. I think Bioware still has, in my opinion, a huge chance to make things right. Over the past few years, though, it's been really, really stressful for that company, or in terms of that development studio, because if you look at Mass Effect Andromeda, came out of the, and it just came out, with as a broken mess. It didn't seem like the game was made properly, and there were challenges. I'm not going to throw the developers under the bus, because on reading a lot of things, or reading a lot of insider stories, it seemed like EA is super headstrong on using its Frostbite engine to do everything, when in reality that engine may not necessarily have worked for a game like that. Because if you look at Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order right now, it was actually developed on the Unreal Engine, which is really crazy. I think EA knew that they needed a working Star Wars game right out the bat, and so they went with that Unreal, or they followed Respawn's recommendation to go with the Unreal Engine, because the Unreal Engine just has a lot of reputation for making solid games that have a lot of fidelity, graphic fidelity, gameplay fidelity right out of the box. So I think going for that was a smart move. The Star Wars game is actually solid. It's a strong entry. And so if Mass Effect Andromeda had benefited from that, we may have had a different game on our hands. So EA probably has learned that its Frostbite engine may not be able to make all its IPs, because EA makes everything from, soccer games all the way to, action RPG games. I think that's their entire library, and that's what they want to continue to make over time. So we need to give them, just a lot more attention in terms of how they're taking this, these steps. I think that's what the community probably needs to do. Just give your attention, see what's going on, make an informed choice. But largely, I think EA understands now that selling a new game, selling a new IP has to be predicated on your past actions. And if they don't have the right actions, then definitely they're going to they're going to suffer right out of the gate, and they don't want to do that. They don't want to invest money in Dragon Age 4, which a lot of people are actually looking forward to. At the same time, a lot of people are being cautious as well, holding back their money. And I feel like these past actions are going to even affect Star Wars Jedi currently, because right now I'm about, I don't know, not 6 hours, I'm past 6 hours into the game, and I just want to say that the game is a solid game. But I've seen a lot of comments to the effect of, it's EA, I don't know, I just have to wait, or people just saying, I don't care, it's EA, I'm not touching this game. And that's exactly the problem that EA has to deal with, because it's their problem. And I think they're trying to use Anthem as a stepping stone. They still have their motives to make money one way or the other. And let's not be surprised that after they bring out this Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order and they see that, oh, it's been accepted widely among the community, then they turn around again and go straight back to what they were doing in the first place. It would not surprise me. But they need to be cautious, and they need to understand that they have a few years to be able to win consumer trust. It's not going to be easy, especially now when you look at the upcoming titles that are coming up. In terms of single player, in terms of possible multiplayer, you're looking at Cyberpunk 2077, which is going to be single player, and with a potential multiplayer component, which it doesn't need multiplayer in my opinion. I think it's a solid game from what I've seen, and if it is shipped that way, I think it's going to be a massive hit. You're also looking at The Last of Us Part 2. You're looking at a possible Batman game. These are the games in the single player category that I feel like are going to continue to just feed players and keep them playing all kinds of fun games. If they're going to do the right thing, or if they're not going to do the right thing, players are still going to be playing these games. And what they need to do to compete is to ensure that they make the right decisions. And so hopefully we see a Dragon Age 4 game. I'm someone who'll be interested in looking at it. I may not play it because, it's not necessarily my style of game, but I do enjoy watching gameplay of things like that. I enjoy reading about a lot of the RPG type games in the sense of that setting. Anyways, I mean, I do play RPG shooters and single player and fighting games, but a game like that doesn't mean I probably won't play it now. And if they bring it out and if it's attractive, who knows? I may pick it up. It's one of those things where it's like, okay, there's nothing wrong in trying out something new. I'll be interested in trying out something new, but EA has to pretty much set the precedent and let me know, or let gamers know, that they are really, really in this for the long haul and not just for like a short-term strategy to come back and gouge people's pockets. Okay, I'll get out of your hair, and this is my last video on Anthem until we hear anything new. But, in the past few days, I've been thinking much more about this, and I think EA needs to, take the right direction, or they need to take the right steps, whatever it is you want to call it. But I think they're taking these steps in order for them to be able to secure a future in this gaming industry, because in the past they have made all kinds of mistakes, and how they still keep their leadership there, I do not know, but it seems their leadership is starting to wake up to that reality. And sure, they may try to say FIFA is their golden goose, but you can only use FIFA for so long, because a lot of people have even started transitioning from FIFA to PES, which is a topic that I'm going to discuss in another video. But stay tuned. I guess that's all I have for this video right now. Thank you very much for your time and your audience, and I guess I'll see you in the next video. Peace.